If the sage refuses to be proud, then people won't compete for his attention. If the sage does not buy treasures, then the people won't want to steal them. If the sage governs with vision, then his people will not go wrong. So in his wisdom, he restrains himself by not being greedy for food, by not dominating the state, by keeping himself healthy and fit. The sage always makes sure that the people don't know what he's done, so they never want to be in control and are never driven by ambition. He keeps them in truth like this, acting invisibly. You see, if there is nothing to fight for, then there is nothing that can break the flow. In the second verse of the Tao, we mentioned how, or I had mentioned, how anti Western way of thinking parts of that were, and this is definitely an additional level up from that. Another translation of this verse that I read had talked about people not being driven by status and attention because it will cause their minds to go into disorder. And both this and the other translation really have me thinking about our modern day reliance on social media and likes and follows and shares and everything that is sort of status signaling, if you will, that has certainly driven certain disorders, if we want to say that, but certainly levels of stress and anxiety and want for more in this cravenous spirit to really take hold of a lot of people. And this verse of the Tao is really, really warning against that being a driver for you as a person, to only seek attention and ambition and treasures and full bellies and dominating others. And there's nothing that feels more poignant to me than what we are going through today as a society and what has been instilled in the Western world, certainly in America, for maybe ever, is that drive and that ambition and seeking attention, certainly now through social media, is something that becomes available to everybody. And the dramatic effects that that has had on the makeup of society and of growing numbers of people who are suffering because of it and don't either realize it or don't know what to do about it. That obvious addictive quality of likes and follows. And so it's a good opportunity to pause and reflect on the actual impact that those things might be having in your life. And if it wouldn't be a much better life in many ways to deconstruct those beliefs and realign them more with something that feels like the flow, like this last sentence says. If there's nothing to fight for, then there's nothing that can break the flow. And so it might be worth examining what are the ways in which you fight for something, someone's attention, the next best title for your job, the next 1,000 views of your video. And really consider, are those things causing disorder in your own life? I would say for the people who purport to be successful because the way in which we've set up society and the world and the economy really service maybe how they are naturally. And so to a degree, I don't discount the idea that certain people could flow and flow very well with how things are set up in that world and society and economy. But I think it's probably a very small percentage of people. But they have a lot to gain from keeping those things as the most important thing in people's lives. And there are a lot of there's a lot of commentary on the Tao and how it helps to inform leaders, right? And this is a very obvious one. And even if you're not a leader in your family or in your friend group or at work or certainly in government, even if you're not holding a leadership or powerful position there, having agency over your own life and leading your own life in a way that is best for you still allows all of these leadership quality type verses of the Tao to strongly relate to you, because if nothing else, you are the determining factor of what it is that you want to pursue and believe and prioritize. And so in that way, everyone is at least the leader of their own life. And so you can think about, as a leader, that you can restrain yourself from not being greedy for food, not dominating the state, or you could think not dominating others, and by keeping yourself healthy and fit. That's at least Lao Tzu's recommendations. And if you think this book has wisdom, then it's certainly something to consider. But I will say it goes very, very contrary to a lot of the way in which our society and economy and world is currently set up.